Good morning, friends. Welcome into Debbie's Witchy Vlog. And today I have a book review. This was kindly sent to me by Crosscrow Books for my honest review. Thank you to Crosscrow Books. This is Introduction to Witchcraft, 13 Lessons in the Practice of Magic by Sara L. Mastros. And the foreword is by Matt Arwen. And here's the side. It says, a comprehensive and no-fluff approach to beginner magic. Sara Mastros has turned thousands of novices into practitioners of the craft. For the first time, Introduction to Witchcraft, 13 Lessons in the Practice of Magic, presents her decades of experience and material in an accessible form. Step into her classroom and with a notebook and a feather-tip pen ready, it's time to advance your practice. Inside Introduction to Witchcraft, you'll find practical exercises, simple but never condescending explanations of major ideas, and examples from Mastros' experience in the field. She covers a wide range of topics from defining magic to curse breaking and protection, and divides the material into clear and distinct sections akin to the lessons from her classes. Introduction to Witchcraft is a foundational title for all beginning witches and long-term practitioners looking to review the basics. Amazing. And she has a YouTube channel too, so she just did a lesson on color magic, which is in here, and it's awesome. So I'll link that down below too, where you can find that, and also where you can find this book. So let's get into it. This is a 340-page book, and title page. There's a great chapter outline, the contents. It's all broken down fabulously, so when you need to look back at something, I mean, she's broken it down completely. It's awesome. That's so good. And then the foreword by Matt Arwen. I love what he wrote here. In fact, I tried to underline it. Her F around and find out attitude remains one of my favorite aspects of her work. It's bold, inquisitive, and grounded. Yes, yes, yes. Definitely. And then Sara writes some stuff here. She explains how she got into witchcraft and like discovering how she was a witch. Thankfully, her mom was very like open to it, so she helped her get books and stuff like that. She started with like the traditional Ray Buckland's Book of Witchcraft and the Patty Slade's Encyclopedia of White Witchcraft, and how they just weren't exactly what she was looking for. She wanted to provide a resource that was like more inclusive than those. And she recommends making a magical journal. There's lots of writing prompts in this book. Her parents were Jewish and Greek, so she pulls a lot from those pantheons throughout the book. Makes for such a rich, layered experience. Oh, this is where she goes into what to do if you have the too much magic crazies. You know, the energy that you have too much energy and you feel jittery and kind of headachy and stuff. She tells you how to ground and get rid of all that extra energy. This is written so well. She includes a solo wishing rite before beginning to learn, and a group one. So if you have friends that you're, you know, if your coven's going through the book, then she includes a group ritual too. It's to set intention for learning and what you want to get out of this, right? And then here's the first writing prompt already, right in the prologue. So yeah, really get that journal ready. Chapter 1 is a spell is a wish the will makes. In this chapter, Sara writes how make-believe isn't childish at all. It's like a magical tool. It's a doorway into the liminal. That space between worlds, magic truly happens. She breaks down what witchcraft and magic are. She goes through color correspondences. Here's colors of magic. She goes into depth about what each color means to her, how to envision it, how to smell it, how to taste it, all your senses. She does a great job of that. And then there's a beautiful chart with all the meanings, all the correspondences, the color associations here. And then she goes into writing your first spell, what to think about, how to gather materials, knowing what to use, and things like that. First, you have to understand your current situation, right? And then you make a plan, and then you execute your plan, and then you have to analyze your results. Like, what if it fails, right? She tells you what to do if it fails and how to level up the spell, how to rewrite it, any spell, to make it like more potent, right? By combining colors and correspondences like herbs and stones and things like that to kind of level up your magic. I love that. How to combine colors for more potent magic without getting them muddied, you know. There's some great rituals in here. Chapter 2 is sympathetic magic. And I like this here that she wrote. Sympathetic magic is magic that relies on the simple fact that everything that exists is connected by complex, interwoven strings of sympathy. I love that. And telling, like, how the witch knows which thread to tap, right? She goes into the web of weird and how it's like a big spider web, and how magic isn't all about intent. It's knowing where to tap the string to create that reverberation for the energy to go where you want it directed. You know, that's the trick, knowing where to tap that string. She teaches a lot through story and parable. I love that. There's so many facts, and like here she has 7 materials for magic: water, salt, railroad spikes, horseshoes, and other iron stuff. Horseshoes over the door, embroidery floss and other threads, coins, red ochre, and even origami paper. She even has a little diagram where you can fold a piece of origami paper. And how to awaken materials that aren't necessarily magical, but you can make them magical, right? She talks about puppets, and then we go into chapter 3, symbols, seals, and sigils. She talks briefly about the Ars Goetia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And how to construct a magical seal for yourself. We have a guest teacher, Ugg. He was pretty fun. He's a caveman that's learning to count. And then, let's see, all about number theory. She goes through each number, the elements, some sacred geometry. I love her charts. And she goes through each number and like why we have that association. Not just telling us what the number means, but why that association exists at this time. And she goes through quite a few of the Egyptian gods and goddesses. She walks us through the tree of life and each Sephiroth. That was interesting. So much information in this book. And then she goes into magical alphabets and witch ciphers. So anybody else write notes to their friends or their first like book of shadows in the Theban alphabet? Oh my goodness. That's intentional writing, I have to say. And then talismanic symbols, some of the common ones. We got the Ouroboros, hand, Hecate's wheel, and I love this. She has beautiful hems in this book that she has put in. Then she talks about sigils, the magic square, how to create one. Oh my goodness. There's a QR code here for more information. It's a Grant Morrison's letter, Wonkathon letter. So yeah, she walks us through how to make them and then how to charge them and activate them. She goes through quite a few divination methods in this book. Cartomancy, telling omens, automatic writing, scrying, the seer's trance, and then how to divine, essential skills for divination, framing questions for divination, how to ask. She gives another QR code for music, for meditation, and how to analyze your results. She talks about all sorts of divination. Here's a QR code for an introduction to tarot, which she has on YouTube. A brief history of tarot, the main meanings of the cards, automatic writing. Chapter 5 is all about the sun and moon, how to work with solar and lunar energies, There's even an activity for making a sun cloak, working with the energies of Helios. There's a solar incense recipe. That looks wonderful. It's frankincense, amber, orange peel, cinnamon chips, and honey. Oh, that sounds wonderful. There's also a really interesting sex ritual in here for like breaking barriers, sort of like a road opening spell. She also gives a invocation to Phoebe for prophecy. It's kind of setting the tone for when you divine. Here's a nice chart about the chakras and the color associations, and then the sound, if you include sound in your meditation. Hecate's wheel. There's a place where she includes instructions on how to create a lunar phylactery protective amulet. Love that. And a full drawing down of the moon ritual, which is useful. You don't hear a lot about that anymore. And not only the moon, but how to draw down other planets to embody that energy. And here's the other 5 planets. She goes through the symbols. Here's a nice chart again. I love the planetary hours. Love that. And then she goes through each planet. She talks about Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy and includes some of the seals for each planet, how to use them. Love that. She explains the intelligence of each planet. I liked how she went into the history and theory behind the planetary correspondences. It makes the practice feel both grounded and expansive, right? Orphic hymn to Aphrodite. That was beautiful. She really goes into depth with each planet. There's lots of activities. Again, a lot of like journaling prompts. Okay, chapter 7, Circles and Centers. This chapter begins with the story of Hypatia of Alexandria and her teachings, what a circle is, how circles are used in witchcraft, how to find your sacred center, and then like a rooting exercise, which is really good. Pour breathing. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's like breathing with your skin instead of your lungs. A greater ritual for plugging in. Love that. How to tap into like the world and all its energies. And then we go into circles and boundaries. How to cast a circle, choosing the size, how to expand it or contract it, or if you have to cut a door, you know, that type of thing. I actually worked through this one myself, and sometimes we forget that even the basics can get sloppy over time, and revisiting them helps strengthen the practice, right? I love that. Work through that. And then we have cleansing and protection. And she tells you how to cast off energies, ritual baths, different protections. There's a wet egg ritual, which I found was funny and neat. And I think she has this one on her YouTube channel too. Threshold protection, kinds of doors. This dragonfire protection oil sounds amazing. It's dragon blood resin, cinnamon, black pepper, hot chili peppers, frankincense, ginger, sandalwood, graved from the dirt of a just warrior. So like a military veteran type of thing. And then ashes from a lightning struck tree, a dead wasp, and a carrier oil. I love that. I have, let's see, that I can get from my dad. The dirt from a grave of a just warrior, that can be from my dad. And we had a lightning strike a tree over on my parents' property. So I'm gonna go see if I can find some ashes from it, or you know, some charred something to use. I would love to do that one. That sounds like a great protection oil. There's another one here, white cross door protection with eggshells. I want to try the witch's broom. I love that. I love my broom. And then different what do they call them? 4 protection charms of Hecate Ereshkigal against fear. I love this one. I didn't even know about this. You know how when you say you steal your kid's nose or something, and you put your thumb, sorry, my hands are little, you can't really see it, but you put your thumb in your fingers? That's a charm, and I did not know that. It says, I am Ereshkigal, the one holding her thumbs, and not even one evil can befall. I love that. Oh, and this chapter was awesome. Malefica and curse breaking. So she says, we live in a culture of ambiguous cursing. I can almost guarantee you've been cursed at least once in the last month. We curse in traffic. We curse when we read the news. We curse ourselves, our loved ones, and our livelihoods and homes with false oaths, sloppy magic, and indiscriminate intimacy with monsters. In this chapter, you'll learn to curse when the need arises, and perhaps more importantly, you'll learn how curses work so that you can learn to diagnose and unweave them. And down here, this is something I agree with. Curses are much easier to break from the outside in. So if you think you're afflicted and you have a friend that can do it for you, it will work better. That's been my experience as well. Magical ethics, and she had Dr. Matthew Valentine did an interview on ethics for her on her YouTube. So I'll remember to link her YouTube down below. Here's some common curses. She has a ritual here. Yep, renunciation. Love that. And how to diagnose a curse. What to do if you have one. Casting the evil eye. Curing the evil eye. The begging bowl, chastity belt, or ball and chain. She has a great writing style. She's very relatable to me. Chains of silence. More hems. I love it. Oh, yeah. She talks about how much protection we have and how it's like walking to a picnic with chainmail on. We do far too much protection magic, I guess. Chapter 10 is all about aneromancy, which is the divination with dreams. Sara explores dream theory and how it affects our magic. How many people today don't get enough sleep. How to sleep effectively, and some charms against insomnia, inspired by the Greek magical papyri. Little sleep balls that you can dissolve in milk or wine right before bed to get a good night's rest. Dream incubation spell. She gives you the magical formula on a whole bay leaf. You write that and put it in your pillowcase. I love that. That's nice and simple. How to do lucid dreaming. And then chapter 11 is trance journey. She says, among the most traditional of the witch's skills is exiting the body to travel in the other place. This practice is known by a panoply of names: trance journey, witch flight, hedge walking, shamanic journey, and many others. While not everyone agrees that these are all identical experiences, for the most part the phrases can be used interchangeably in most conversations with other witches. For more detail or sophisticated witches shop talk, always be sure to clarify to make sure everyone's on the same page. Cosmology, the world tree, and then she includes a nice ritual on witch flight, assuming the world tree form, how to descend into the womb of the earth, finding the in-between place, and then knowing how to return to your body. And then she gives 7 suggested journeys that you can take. This one sounds fun. Ask a guide to take you to the goblin market. Before going, think about what you will trade. Secrets are a good option. Take Hermes of the marketplace with you. Barter for a magical item there. Do not make trades without Hermes' approval. That would be interesting to do. Chapter 12 is shape-shifting. Sara recommends taking this chapter slow, especially if you experience dysmorphia or any dysphoria about your body. Talks about casting glamours, assumption of the god form, And she includes an invocation to Thoth, mask magic, embodying the spirit or energy you wish to channel. And she emphasizes the importance of researching any form you want to shapeshift it into, really learning about that being before you embody its essence, right? That could be dangerous. So, and how to tether too. A lot of people don't discuss tethering. I tether before I travel, just so I can find my way back easier. And then Dark Mirror Conjuration for chapter 13. This chapter focuses on spirit communication and mirror work, creating a portal for communication, either with deities or spirits, guides that you work with, making a magic mirror, how to make a Pergamon triangle. I love this invocation. She says, Hecate, Dione, Phoebe, Nyx, mistress of the mists that mix in betwixt, the liminal boundary that guards the in-between, Artemis, Persephone, Melino, Queen, by key and torch, by snake, whip, and blade, I call you now, please come to my aid. Selene, Menine, bright moon shine, open this portal as Hecate's shrine. Triple-voiced, triple-headed, triple-faced, triple-necked, your mirror stands ready, your face to reflect. Actiphus, sorry. Daira, give light to true knowing as I bathe this mirror in cold waters flowing, and awaken new life as a portal of insight. Let darkness disperse, give way to bright light. Love that. And she makes a blasting rod, which I think is fabulous. She guides you through writing an invocation, evocation, spirit etiquette, performing and closing a conjuration, and even compulsive conjuration. If you get a spirit that doesn't want to come forth, you can kind of make them come forth if you need the information now, you know. And then what's next? And she includes a bunch of resources for further learning. Different books to read. I love that. I love further reading. So I loved this book. When I found out Sara was both a high school teacher and a teacher in a prison, or used to be, I knew it was going to be a great book, and it was. It absolutely was. Sara brings magical theory and practice together seamlessly in a well-planned and beautifully executed way. This isn't just for beginners. Even experienced practitioners will find new insights here. I learned a ton, especially about the Greek and Roman pantheons by working through this book. Her lessons are fun and thoughtful and packed with hands-on exercises, which I love. That really solidifies the teachings for me. And she draws from credible and historical sources. Everything from Benabel Wen's writings to the Greek magical papyri in ancient Egypt, texts written in Greek. Those were awesome. She gives clear and concise instructions, includes beautiful hymns to the deities, invocations, evocations, crafts, lessons. I loved how she uses footnotes and for like side notes and extra commentary down here. Can really get into what she's thinking as she writes each chapter. Sara's humor shines through her writing, and the QR codes for extra reading and listening are so nice. It's a nice modern touch. She even weaves her personal gnosis alongside the academic resources. It creates a wonderful blend of scholarship and spirit. Each chapter brings something new. It's practical, witty, and rooted in tradition. Whether you're just starting out or years in your craft, there's something here for everyone. If you're looking for a book that weaves together real magic, practical exercises, and grounded wisdom with a touch of humor and a lot of heart, Introduction to Witchcraft by Sara Mastros is an absolute must-read. A huge thank you again to Crosscrow Books for sending this over my way. I'll leave all the links down below where you can pre-order the book and check out Sara's YouTube channel. If you've ever read anything by Sara or plan to pick this one up, drop me a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you for visiting today. Until next time, I'm wishing you many blessings. Bye, friends.